Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Balls fans. I'm your host, Bull. In today's video, we'll be talking about Coach Josh Heupel recruiting the quarterback position. I think that he's the quarterback whisperer. We've never won a Heisman Trophy at the University of Tennessee, but I think that we are going to win some up under Coach Heupel, especially at the quarterback position. But as always, y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so we all know that the quarterback position is probably the most important position on a football team, especially these days. The quarterback is asked to do so much. You can only go as far as your quarterback takes you. And whenever you think about our team back in the days, right, like back in the 90s, back in the early 2000s, back in our heyday, we've had some very good quarterbacks. Even, as of late, Hendon Hooker, who we'll be talking about some today, we've had some very good quarterbacks at this university, but we've never been considered quarterback U. We were more considered wide receiver U. Well, who's quarterback U? In my opinion, it's Oklahoma. I believe that they have the most Heisman Trophy winners at the quarterback position than any other program in the entire country. They have four. It all started off with Josh Heupel back in 2000. He was Oklahoma's first Heisman Trophy finalist as a quarterback, and he finished right ahead of Drew Brees, who we all know went on to be, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and right behind Chris Winkie, who at the time that he won the trophy was 28 years old. So if it wasn't for Chris Winkie being abnormally old for a college football player, especially back in those days, then, Coach Heupel would have had a Heisman Trophy, and he also would have had a national championship trophy as a player. But as a coach, does he know what it takes to get a player up to winning the Heisman Trophy? Well, for sure he does, because at Oklahoma back in 2008, he was the quarterback's coach whenever Sam Bradford won the trophy. So he knows how to get it done as a player and as a coach. And I would say that if I'm a quarterback, if I'm a blue chip guy, if I'm a top three guy in the whole country, I'm looking at guys like Lincoln Riley and I'm looking at Josh Heupel, 1A, 1B, however you want to slice it. Now, Coach Heupel does have a good track record with quarterbacks. It might not be as good as a Lincoln Riley just because he does have Pat Mahomes, who's probably the GOAT. But at the same time, I think that he's got a very good opportunity to, kind of close that gap just because of Nico. Now, we do also know that here at the University of Tennessee, speaking of Hendon Hooker, that, Coach Heupel pretty much, he was about to coach him to a Heisman Trophy win as well. And I think really even a national championship win if Hendon Hooker did not have that season-ending injury versus South Carolina. I think that that says a lot, and we'll talk more about Hendon Hooker towards the end of this video. But if you fast forward to what we have right now, we're talking about Nico Iamaleava. That's a guy that Coach Heupel hand selected. He went out, he went all in for Nico, which should tell you a lot about what Coach Heupel thinks about him as far as being able to win a national title and a Heisman. I think that he sees everything that he's ever wanted in Nico. He's the prototype for this offense. I don't know if we'll ever see a player that is fit better to run it than Nico is. And I'll tell y'all this right here, right now. I think that Nico does win the Heisman this season. This is going to be his best opportunity because he's got so many veterans coming back. The wide receiver room is loaded. The tight end room is loaded. I don't know if it's going to be that strong in the 2025 season, but if Nico does go out and if he wins the Heisman, then all of a sudden we can go to that transfer portal. We can hand select whatever players we want to get us right in 2025. Nico could end up being the second player to win the Heisman Trophy twice. Some of y'all might call that a homer take, but if there's anyone that can do it, I would say that it's Nico. You just cannot underestimate how special of a talent he is. And if you look at, how things are kind of stacked up against him this season, heading into the season, for to win the Heisman Trophy, the best odds are with Carson Beck. But do we really trust him to be focused this season? We've already seen that he got him some money, and now he's out there driving exotic cars and racing them out there on the street, really buying into that UGA culture. Also, I've been hearing some rumors that he might be dating one of the Cavender twins. I don't think that that's going to end well for him. And to everyone that likes to put money on these sorts of things, I will most definitely be betting the field over Carson Beck to win the Heisman Trophy this season. More specifically, I will be putting money on Nico Iamaleava just because the odds are definitely going to be in your favor. Coach Josh Heupel knows how to go out and identify the talent that can win the Heisman Trophy and or win a national title at the quarterback position. And he definitely has the type, right? What is that type? It's quarterback that's prototype size, okay, like 6'3" and up. And, they're very mobile. They can throw on the run. They can throw from the pocket. They have a very quick release. And they can also just make plays with their legs. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. All of our quarterbacks are going to have a very similar skill set. And the next player right here behind Nico Iamaleava is going to be Jake Merklinger. He was a four-star coming out of high school. He's about 6'3" and a half. I think currently might be around 210 to 220 pounds. He'll probably start the season off at about 215 to 220. But I love what I saw from him in spring, whether it's in the orange and white game or just in the practice setting, operates the offense, I feel like, at a really good level. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly and he makes quick decisions. That's what you want to do, inside of our offense, inside of our scheme. It's so important to do that. That's something that I feel like Hendon Hooker did at a very, very high level. And I feel like Nico is going to do that at a very high level as well. But Jake Merklinger, once Nico is done, he's going to be the guy. If he can beat out the next one, who is George Macintyre, 5-star coming out of high school, okay, we hope that kind of sticks, but it doesn't really matter because he plays like a 5-star. Very, very similar skill set. I would say he might be a little bit more similar to a Nico, just as far as being a little bit taller and longer. It takes those long strides, but he's a baller too. All these guys are going to have strong arms. They're all going to be very, very accurate. Again, great touch, great timing, great anticipation. So the battle between G-Mac and Jake Merklinger is going to be a very good one next year, and I think the year after that as well. Now, let me kind of backtrack some because some people have been talking about, well, we're concerned about our backup quarterback. We have not really talked about Gaston Moore. Gaston Moore may not have as much of an athletic upside, but as far as being able to operate this offense, just be that game manager on a very high level, I think that he could do it. Could we still, be playoff bound with Gaston Moore, or could we still win a national title with him? I think that it's possible, but what we would need is for the rest of our team to step up around him. But guys, just do not underestimate how important he's going to be to this team and how good of a player he actually is. I think that some people are still sleeping on Gaston Moore. And even if it's not Gaston, I actually, at this point, I do trust Jake Merklinger, but I would say that more towards the end of the season, I would trust him even more. He's going to be ready whenever his number is called. Probably going to have to sit this season and next year as well because Nico will have to return for his third year. But I think that we're looking really good so far, just as far as the talent at quarterback that we're getting in. It's unbelievable. Again, you've got to take some time just to step back and admire what Coach Heupel has done. We've never had as deep of a quarterback room as we're going to have over the next 2 to 3 seasons. And a big part of the reason for that is Faizon Brandon, who is the #1 quarterback in the 2026 class. He's set to announce on August the 3rd, and he is from Greensboro, North Carolina. So that's the same place that Hendon Hooker is from. Hendon Hooker has done a great job of helping us to recruit Faizon and his family to Knoxville. He's listed at 6'3.5", 195 pounds. I think he might be a little bit heavier than that. I can also tell you all this. He's kind of young for his class, which is a great thing. That means that his ceiling is significantly higher. And before we take a look at his film, I want for y'all to take a look at all of his visits. Okay, these are all unofficial visits. And his finalists right now is us, NC State, LSU, and Alabama. I believe that this battle is really between us and Alabama, with LSU being a close third. But you can see that he has visited NC State the most, 6 times. He's visited our Volunteers the second most, is 5 times. And it looks like he's visited Florida State and Alabama twice. I believe that he's also visited LSU twice. But whenever you talk about him, just on his film, this is a guy that can make all of the throws. He has great touch, great timing, great anticipation, and he's very mobile, does not run a whole lot. More of a pocket passer. He likes to stay inside that pocket, but he can move if everything breaks down. He actually, I would say, reminds me the most of a Hendon Hooker just because he throws such a catchable ball, such a beautiful ball. It's almost like a changeup, but it's not even a changeup because it gets there on time. It's something that we've talked about before, just in comparing Hendon Hooker and Nico to a guy like Joe Milton, who's able to throw the ball harder, but it's also, I feel like, a little bit heavier to catch. Faizon does not have that problem. I don't think Nico has that problem. G-Mac or Jake Merklinger, none of those quarterbacks have that problem, but I would say that the best touch award has got to go to Faizon Brandon. He's going to be tremendous, and I think that he will end up choosing our Volunteers because he talked about relationships meaning the most to him. And we already know, again, he's got Hendon Hooker, he's got Coach Heupel, he's got Coach Halsley. He has a great relationship with our entire university. He's talked about that several times on the record, but he's also looking for a team that has a good offensive line. We know that we have a great offensive line moving forward. It's going to be better than anything that I think Coach Heupel has ever seen. And he's also looking for some good people to throw the football to, tight ends, wide receivers, all of that. We've got a great tight end class. Our wide receiver class, as far as the youth goes, looks really good. And, I just feel like things will kind of be trending a lot more for our Volunteers by the time that he does get on campus. So he's making his decision here pretty soon. We will be able to prove enough that our Volunteers are the school for him to pick. Again, y'all, I think that he will. I think that we are in a very, very good spot, but you never really know until it's all said and done. But again, just to kind of backtrack, we're doing a phenomenal job at the quarterback position. I would say that for the foreseeable future, we are going to start being like in Oklahoma, where we're going to have a quarterback in the Heisman Trophy almost every single year. We're going to have quarterbacks drafted in the first round almost every single year. And hopefully they're going to have very successful NFL careers. That's what we're looking forward to. And it will pay dividends for us moving forward at every other position. We're going to have a whole lot of success. And we have Coach Josh Heupel to thank for that primarily. Cannot be any more proud of what he's doing just to turn our football program around and just all the buzz that is surrounding this season, and the future of our Volunteers is very, very high. Let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comments section. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other Volunteer fans. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.